right, something a little different. We're going to make this look like this. Keep watching, you'll see how I did it. Hello, happy summer, right? So we're gonna do a turtle. I got this as a gift. It's by Robotime. Robotime, if you didn't know, is basically Row Life, Robotime, Row Wood. They're all under the same umbrella. But this one's super easy, and I thought, this might be fun. Let's try it. When I open this up, it's basically just 2 sheets of wood. That's it. I did this in about 20 minutes. So nice, super easy afternoon kind of thing. So what I did is, and I would advise, is don't take all the pieces out at once, because they have a nice little chart to go by which piece goes where. The pieces themselves are not labeled. So I would literally, step 1, take the part out, see where it goes. It's not super intuitive, at least on this little guy, because the pieces don't look like anything, except for maybe the big leaf shape that's the turtle shell. But the other ones, I would just take out as you need and then put it together. It's not that difficult. And for mine, they fit very, very, very tight, so I definitely did use my pliers just to slide it tight. It gave a tip of, if it's loose, put a little piece of paper between the slots, which would help. Or I did have a couple pieces that were too slidey, so I did use a little dab of glue. Either way. See, it's already looking like something. It hasn't been any time at all. Of course, the power of editing, you don't see, me searching for each piece. That's probably the only thing that took a while, is trying to find which piece they wanted you to put on there. But otherwise, easy peasy. Let's keep going. Another thing that I might mention is the order. So there's only like 5 steps, but the order of putting that particular step together does kind of matter. So I think the way that they wanted you to do it is in the instructions, from the top down. Because if you put the middle piece in last before, you just can't. So just work from the top instruction down to the end. He's got flippers. Yeah, mine fit really, really, really tight. Looks like a turtle. And all we have left to make an official turtle is put the turtle shell on. It's got kind of tiles. Think of this kind of like a skeleton of a turtle. And ta-da! Very cute on its own. And if you like the minimalist, simple look, perfect. You're done. But you know us, we can't leave it alone. Let's see if we can make it more turtley. I did not plan the cardboard that was on my table. It just happened to be there. But what we're going to do is I'm going to just do kind of a primer. Most of this is going to be all covered, but I want to seal the wood in. So I'm just going to cover it with the spray paint. And why not do it the turtle green, hunter green. Now, I knew when I started this that I wanted to try and play with resin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this apart. We don't need the feet for now. They're just going to get in our way. And we're going to take the little, all we want to work on is the shell. So we're going to take everything off, save your instructions in case you don't know where everything goes. And we're just going to strip it down to the shell. All right, we got it down to this point. Looks like the turtle's hiding inside his shell. I got a whole bunch of beads, and I decided I'm going to use these different colors. It kind of looks like, the beach glass. I thought that would be perfect. I kind of made it up as I went. Of course, I have to sort my beads, because I'm not sure what patterns I wanted to do, but I definitely wanted to keep it very earthy, more, I say in quotes, realistic-y. I'm making up words too. So Before we get too involved, I wanted to make a mold. I was not sure how I was going to do this. I have never worked with resin ever, so this will be the first time. So I wanted to make something where I can put my little turtle shell in and it would lay there. I thought of this container, and I started with making it with some clay. I just have standard cheapo clay. And I'm going to just make a shape of the shell. That's my first idea. I wanted to make this now because I know this clay in our environment here in the Pacific Northwest is very moist air. So it takes forever to dry, especially this clay. This is, this is clay that you put on the pottery wheel kind of stuff. So it takes a while to dry. And I didn't want it to crack too much because, resin, from what I do know, is if there's a hole or anything, it's going to leak. So I wanted this to be as porcelain smooth as I could get it. So I got that made, and I'm just going to sit it there to dry. Now I can do some fun stuff. And that fun stuff is decorating the shell. There we go. Kind of have a folk art kind of quilty kind of look that we're going for. Well, that's how it's ending up, so looks good, but not quite what I want. So we need one step further. I have this beaded ribbon string stuff, and I thought, you know what? Let's do a border around every little shell piece. It's gonna look more, like a quilt with the peeking shears kind of look. Here's the last little piece, and I think that turned out pretty good. Very nice. We'll let that dry. As I'm letting the beads dry, I'm going to paint the bottom. This is the bottom chest plate. If you ever look at a turtle. I looked at more turtles than I've ever looked at turtles before, just to see what their colors are and kind of how they're built. So I thought, you know, their chest plate area is always kind of an off-white, very bright, brighter than the rest of them kind of color. So I think I'm going to do that. That's the idea anyway. This ends up being completely covered, so, you know. Did I mention that I'm making this up as I go? Alright, I originally was going to use that clay mold, but the more I thought about it, I thought that is going to stick and it's not going to work. So I have this, I bought it for something else a long time ago, but it's a two-part making silicone. So you can make molds of stuff and then you could just remake something over and over and over again. So I thought, this would be perfect. Why not? So you mix the two parts and then you just knead it together like bread. And then you make kind of a silly putty kind of thing. And then I put it over the top of the shell. I made sure I covered it in saran wrap. And then I just formed it around the shell itself and let it dry. It only took about 20 minutes to dry fully. It's kind of cool stuff. And I'm going to use that as a mold instead. This worked pretty good, and I actually thought, oh no, there's a lot of wrinkles and things in it. So I thought of turning it inside out. It didn't quite work or fit. So I'm going to keep with my original plan. I think it works out. I promise. I had bought in some resin. It had to have been over a year ago. A while ago. And unfortunately, this box was completely hardened and no good. But luckily, I had bought in another box recently, and I ended up using that. I could even see it from here. That one is very yellow. It's not supposed to be that color. So if you haven't worked with resin before, like me, basically you're just going to put equal parts, and it's very important you put the same amount of part A as part B, and then mix it all up. I don't have a professional setup at all, so, this is a good dabble into resin. Mine ended up with a lot of bubbles and things like that. For a turtle that's supposed to be under the sea, I think it's fine, We're going to say it's part of the design. But basically, they give you, well, this one did, they give you little measuring cups. I was ready with a little plastic measuring cup. And then put it in something that you don't care gets ruined, I will say. Don't use your special china to mix resin in. Don't. Because this does dry relatively quick. I mean, it's about 10-20 minutes, but if you leave anything on that, whatever cup you use or bowl, it's going to be there forever. That's what it's meant to be, right? Unless you want it to be resined. And make sure you make enough. I didn't quite make enough. I would say for my particular project, I made it about 2 of these little shot glasses full. All right, time to pour. I thought, well, I put a bunch in at the bottom just so that I was a little bit paranoid that it wouldn't cover. Spoiler, it didn't. But I put some in the bottom, put the little shell in. It's very nerve-wracking. You're like, ooh, my beautiful work. Put it in, and then the tricky part is getting it down the side. I got it all over the place. Make sure you protect your table, too. All right. I think we did pretty good. I did end up adding a little bit more later on because there wasn't quite going to the top there. And we're just going to let that dry. I left it overnight, basically. It takes 24 hours to fully cure, something like that. Oh, and another thing is keeping it level. That was tricky too. You're going to see here when I put another batch of resin in there, I used all sorts of things to try to level it out. That's the trouble with an impromptu setup, but it worked. Now we're going to unmask it. I am glad I used the silicone instead of the clay. This would have never came off. There we go. It looks a little cloudy. It scared me at first. I was like, that's not what I wanted it to look like. But you can see at the very, very top, it kind of looks like little Fruit Loops at the top. So what I read and what I watched a few YouTube videos, if you put another coat over the top, it'll just fill in those, well, two things. I want to fill in those holes that I left, and it'll kind of make it more shiny. I have a very awkward shape here that's kind of front heavy, so it keeps wanting to tilt. So you got to get creative building a stand for it. I just used a lot of saran wrap and bottle caps. And then we're going to pour. I just did about maybe a shot glass. I say a shot glass. You know, those little cups of resin. That was about enough just to fill those holes that are in the top and cover the rest of it. And I didn't mind that it dripped over. That's okay, because we have other plans for the other parts. Just like that. It already looks so much better. That worked out. I was quite pleased with myself. Not too bad. If you guys are professional, you know who you are, who use resin all the time, I'll take any tips, because I would like to do something with resin again, I think. I'll have to dabble with it. I originally got this resin so that I could do like rivers and lakes and things in my miniatures, but doing stuff like this, it's kind of fun. And this is after it dried. You can see it dripped all over the place, but it looks wet. I say in quotes, but nope, it's dry. And ta-da! Looks fine the way it is, right? I put the legs on and the head back on. But you know, we got a fancy little turtle shell. Now, let's take it to the next level. And you can see all the drips and things. I did have to cut a little bit off. It wasn't too bad. If you get it when it's a little bit pliable, it just kind of either snaps off or cuts off with really strong scissors. But now I'm going to get my clay out. I have a little half bag here that I think is going to be perfect. This is the good clay. This is the stuff that costs more than $5 a box. And I'm going to start forming the head, and I want to merge the legs so it looks less like a piece of plywood and more like a turtle. There we go. Now it's looking like something, right? Having that little internal skeleton definitely helps. So you just form it around it. Blend the shell down to the feet, or the flippers, I guess it would be. It kind of dictates what it wants to be. And now I'm going to add details once I got it where I want it. And I just used the back of my paintbrush to make lines, and then I used a pen cap to make it look like it had scales. Now the original had little holes for the eyes. These beads right here are a little too big and it'd be a little too goofy, but I'm going to use them to indent all the way in to kind of find where the holes are in the plywood or the wood there. And I went as in far enough as I can, so I know where the eyes are going to go. All right, he's got a cute little smile. Let's let that dry. He dried overnight, and ta-da! We got ourselves a turtle. He's a very beach bleached turtle right now. And now we're going to try to blend the bright white clay into the green flippers here. And how I did that is I just layer. So I started with a kind of a regular primary green. And now I'm going to go with kind of an olive green. And I'm just going to do the edges. This is kind of a highlight where the sun would kind of hit. And then once I got that, I kind of did a wash of a brown. Kind of the same brown that I did the border of the shell of. We're trying to make it very layered in colors. The more layers you put on there, the more you got less elementary school project to more realistic, I guess. Because this is acrylic paints, you really want to, unless you want to blend it really well, you want to let each layer dry completely, because as soon as you add water, you know, with acrylic paints, it's going to wash itself off. So I'm going to do a final coat of just a black wash. And this is what I'm hoping it'll do is accentuate all those little scales that we put on, all the lines. You know, our little turtle has been through it, and he's lived a life. So we want to show all those little imperfections. Or perfections, you know. There he is. Looks a little rough. Yeah, I know. But we got one more thing we're going to do. We're going to do a clear coat just to seal it all in. And now he's nice and shiny and happy. We gotta add some eyeballs. He can see. Very cute. Yeah, once I put that shiny coat on there. Oh, by the way, I've been using Fabri-Tac for all this project. It's a new glue that I've just started using, and I like it. I would recommend it. It's pretty strong. And it dries pretty quick, so kind of ticks the boxes that I need. And there he is, in all his glory. So cute. It's amazing to think that this started from a little $5 kit of just a turtle skeleton, basically. And they have others I might try because they're kind of cool. I think there's an octopus and a whale and things like that. And just clay that I had. I just happened to have the resin. That'd probably be the most expensive thing. And because that's about resin is not cheap, is it? It's about $20 a box or something like that. At least it was for me. And the beads that I have a billion beads. I could use anything. And then you get a turtle and paint. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a fun project. I got this little kit from someone and I was like, oh, instantly I looked at that and said, we can make that pretty cool. And I knew this is what I wanted to make before I even started it. I didn't know it would end up like this. So it was a fun surprise, and I hope you like this. If you do, definitely hit that like button as you have been doing. Thank you very, very much, all of you. I love you all. And stay tuned for the next video. Who knows what I'm going to be doing? Will I continue to be under the sea? Or will I go to a fairy world? Or will I just make a little house? Who knows? Stay tuned for the next adventure. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.